Welcome to episode 6. This is a series on getting things done in a distracting world. So today's episode is non-actionable items. We're on step 3, which is called organize. In our previous episode 5, we talked about how to organize, the tools you need to organize your actionable items. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the tools you need to organize your non-actionable items. So this is Ruth Bomar, your online academic coach. The tools you're going to need for this step is two types of lists and a set of folders. So 3 tools. List, folders. The folders are for your reference. Now, let's start there first. Your reference can be physical, like a hard copy, or it could be digital. Let's talk about physical first. When we talk about a tool to organize reference material, you're gonna hold that piece of paper in your hand that you've already thought it through and clarified and determined it is a non-actionable item and it needs to go in reference. So a reference piece of paper is something that you're going to need later. That you don't want to throw it away, you're going to need it later. So the first question you ask right now is can I find this online? Now if the answer is yes, then you might not need a paper copy. You can just throw it away. Or if the answer is yes, I can find it online, you might still need a paper copy. If the answer is no, I can't find it online and I need it, well then you're going to reference it. You're going to put it in your reference file. Now let's go back to the answer is yes, I can find it online, but I still need a paper copy of it. Then you're going to go ahead and make the paper copy and put it in the file folders. Now, an example of something that you might need a paper copy of, even though you have it online, is your syllabus. I recommend that all my students print all their syllabi for the semester in paper form and file it. I recommend that you get a plastic folder with pockets. Plastic so it'll last the whole semester, and pockets so you don't have to, not like a 3-ring notebook where you have to open the rings and close them, but just pockets and you can just stuff. And that's the only thing you're going to put in that pocket folder are your syllabi. So if you have 5 classes, you're going to get 5 syllabi in that folder. Now, the reason you want a paper copy of your syllabi, even though you can find it online, is several. 1, the internet might go down, which has happened. 2, you might the website might go down. So the internet might go down, or the website might go down, or you might not have access to internet to where you are. And the other reason is there might be lots of layers or lots of screens you got to get past to find the syllabi or the syllabus for the course. So sometimes you get online to get your syllabus, and there's so many steps with that going through Fort Knox. There's so many security layers or simply organizational layers. It takes you a long time to find your syllabus, and by then you forgot what you needed. So just for ease of use and being efficient and proficient and make a good use of your time, get a paper copy, put it in your pocket, your plastic pocket folder, and keep that plastic pocket folder in your backpack. Carry it with you to class and carry it with you to your study room, wherever it is that you study. Now there's different kinds of reference tools. When I first started getting things done, I used an expandable folder, like an accordion file. And they had little slots for every letter in the alphabet. So that's what I used. But I outgrew that pretty soon. And so I grew into just a bin, a plastic bin that you could buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. And then I got those hanging files that have the little hooks on the side. And also bought a box of file folders. Like you can buy colorful ones or buy a manila folder, just plain manila folder ones. But you want to buy plenty. Don't just buy a packet of 6. Buy plenty. Because if you have to go buy a new packet every time you need to make a file folder, then you won't do it. So make sure you have plenty of the tools you need to create this reference system, because you're going to be adding to it as you go. And you use this as ABC, just an ABC file folder, and then you write the name on the file with some handy dandy pens that you like. Or if you're good at printing labels from your computer onto a printer, then you can just print them. I'm not very good at that. For me, it's just faster to write them with a pen, and I just write them down and I put them in my file folder. So my file folder my reference file has to be easy to use and have all my tools I need to make a file as I go. So at any given time, I'm ready to make a file folder. That's being organized ready. We want to be organized ready in this step, the step called organize. Now the next tool you're going to use is a list. This list is called Someday Maybe. This list was a lifesaver for me when I was trying to write my proposal for my dissertation, because I would have so many ideas that would offshoot ideas that would just come from the work I was doing. And I didn't want to lose those ideas because I thought they were fantastic ideas and I wanted to do them and implement them. But if I implemented that idea, if I chased that idea, then I would lose momentum and traction that I needed to get the job done, which was at that time write my proposal. So I would that is called a distraction. It's called a squirrel. And I would just chase a squirrel for a while and realize, oh, I'm not getting anything done for my proposal. So I would grab that idea, write it down on a piece of paper and stuff it in a folder. And that folder was called Someday Maybe. I would put that folder in my reference file. And every time I had a clever idea, I would jot it down on a piece of paper and stuff it in that folder. Pretty soon my Someday Maybe list evolved into a digital file. Oh, I forgot to tell you, in the reference file, you could have a paper. These are paper files, like A through Z paper, but you also need one digitally because you have things coming to you online. So you want to organize your file folders on your laptop, on your saved documents, in some kind of alphabetical order or time order so you can find them quickly. Don't save them on your desktop because pretty soon your whole desktop will be cluttered with documents. Create some kind of filing system within your saved documents or on Google Docs. So or on some kind of online tool that you might use. Google Docs is an example. When I was still a student in doing my doctoral work, the university I attended also had a space on their university website, the university computer system, that I could create a folder on. So whenever I was needing to save a document that I was working on, I would save it on my laptop. I would save it on the university system. I would also save it on the thumb drive, and I would also email it to myself because I didn't want to lose the papers I was writing. So that's reference. So sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. Now let's go back to the Someday Maybe list. Someday Maybe list are things that are okay to procrastinate on, because you're going to work on these ideas when you have energy and when you're ready. And by implementing the getting things done method, these 5 steps, you're going to create more open space and more time to work on your Someday Maybe list. So this is what was so exciting for me, because I knew my ideas that were popping into my head, I would capture them, put them in my Someday Maybe list, and I knew I wasn't going to lose them. And I knew that I was going to get to them. So I wasn't neglecting my creativity. So it's kind of like an incubator, when you get to these ideas, when you're ready to work on these ideas that are in your Someday Maybe list, you're more ready to do them. Now the next checklist and the third item in this non-actionable items, the organized step, is checklists. Checklists are a life savior. My most recent my checklists by definition are a list of actions that you need to do that you haven't quite mastered yet. they're not a habit yet. I haven't memorized them yet. So my most recent checklist that I made, I was working in an office and I needed to scan a document. Well, they asked me to use this big copy machine in the workroom. So that means I have to get up from my office, walk to the workroom, and then punch in an account number, an ID number, and then follow all the steps. And then there was on the control panel there was a screen that you would submit, push buttons on, like your iPhone. But there was also physical buttons, real honest to goodness physical buttons, like a big orange one or a big green one or a yellow one. And I had to use both in the process of scanning the document. So I couldn't remember how to do it. So I created a list, and I put it on one of those big Post-its, those 5x7 Post-its. And then I put the Post-it on the inside of a cabinet door. So it always, stayed there. Every time I needed to scan something, which was just once in a while, I didn't do it every day. That's why I couldn't remember it. I would open the cabinet door, take out that little Post-it, walk over to the big machine, and then just follow my instructions that I had written for myself. That's a checklist. Another example of a checklist would be packing your gym bag. Let's say you have to go to baseball practice 4 days out of the week or 5 days out of the week, and you always show up with one thing missing. You always forget just one thing. So if you would write a checklist, and then here's the clincher with using a checklist, you got to put the checklist in a location where you're going to see it and use it. So it could be on the wall, next to the door, somewhere, some location in your living space, in your dorm or your apartment or your home, where you will actually see it and use it to pack your gym bag. Some of my students, I've worked on making a list of what to do in the morning in order to get out the door on time. Wake up and do this, and then do this, and then do this. For some of my students, we've worked on a bedtime checklist because their goal was to get enough sleep so they could get up in the morning and be ready for class the next morning. So we created a checklist for bedtime. And then I asked them, well, where are you going to put this list so you won't forget it? And usually it turns out to be on their phone, on an alarm, or on an event, or on a reminder. So there's a digital reminder component there. So your checklists will help you, will save you time. So now what we've done here is we have a reference folder for physical and digital information that we need to keep and not throw away. We'll use it later. We need someday maybe list, and we have a checklist. Now we are organize ready. So remember, if you're capture ready in step 1 and now you're organize ready in step 3, you're basically ready for anything that happens, anything that comes your way that you need to process, make sense of, and get it done. So today was episode number 6. Next episode, I'm going to talk about reflect, and then the final step will be engage. I invite you to follow me on YouTube. I invite you to like my Facebook page, and I invite you to go to my website and sign up to receive my newsletter. You'll find me on ruthbomar.com. That's my name, ruthbomar.com. And I am Ruth Bomar, your online academic coach. See you next time.